Alright, so the first Scribblenauts game was quite ambitious. What have you learned in developing Scribblenauts 1 that you've applied to Scribblenauts 2?
Basically, we've had more emphasis on the iteration of our levels. We from the get-go, we looked at our levels and we're like, we need to make these better, more focused. One of the disadvantages of the first game was that you could solve almost any puzzle with helicopter and a rope, right? This time the levels, all 120 of them, are more focused, they're objective based. It's not easy, you can't just use one or two objects on every level to solve them. It's going to challenge the player a lot more, but we also have a new hint system in place to help the player so they're never frustrated or stuck.
Will players be penalized for using the hint system?
No, not really. We actually have the in-game currency, which is called Allers from the first one. The players earn that through playing, through spawning new words, and they can actually use that to purchase new hints for their level to give them, you know, a boost. So you start with the vaguest of the hints, right? And it's free. And then as you progress through the level, you can go into the hint browser menu, purchase a more explicit hint. And the more expensive the hint is, the more explicit it is.
So the big feature of this one is that you've added in adjectives. What sort of challenges did that present, putting that in?
Well, there is literally a trillion combinations now between our object dictionary and our adjective dictionary. And so testing that is a huge challenge. What we did is we made an auto spawner tool, which basically allowed us to spawn combinations on the fly as fast as we could. Helped us cover a lot of testing, and so honestly testing was the biggest challenge of this. So the random is something that is actually on specific objects. For example, if you spawn a Maxwell's notepad, you'll actually get the little notepad with the starlight on it in the level, and Maxwell can interact with that to spawn random items. So it will spawn one object with two random adjectives applied to it, and so it's just fun for the player. It's not necessarily helpful because the levels are focused in a way that something random won't necessarily help you, but it's still fun for the player.
Have you looked at bringing multiplayer into this game at all?
That's something we've looked at. Right now we just have the level sharing and a much upgraded level editor over the first one that players are really going to like, because you could paint your own tiles in the terrain instead of using pre-existing templates. We have advanced scripting for the levels as well. You basically could make any levels that are in the game that we put in there, you could almost recreate them with the level editor we include with the game, and you could share those over Wi-Fi.
Have you looked at any of the other consoles, like even the Wii or the PlayStation 3 or Xbox, as a possible home for Scribblenauts?
Yeah, we've looked at everything. We're constantly appraising the environments and making sure we make the best decision. Right now we're focused on Super Scribblenauts, finishing that out here, and just look for it in stores on October.